Hi, I'm Mikaele and I work with Catholic Relief Services. I recently traveled to Jordan and Lebanon with some of our CRS seminary partners. This trip was my 38th trip overseas with CRS, so I'm used to the unexpected and the challenges that can accompany traveling. It began with our flight to Paris and eventually on to Beirut being delayed by 4 hours, which caused us to miss 2 different connecting flights. After a marathon run through the Charles de Gaulle airport, we found everyone's luggage except for mine. They could not find my luggage in the system at all. At this point in our journey, 30+ hours later, I was simply happy to be getting on a plane heading to Beirut. It was the first full day of our time in Beirut, and despite having only 2 pair of underwear, 1 pair of pants, and 2 shirts, I discovered that it actually could be much, much worse. The project we were scheduled to visit was a women's shelter for refugees and migrants run by Caritas Lebanon, called Cedar Shelter. The woman I met that day at the shelter was named Moyshana. She and her children had arrived at the shelter 11 days earlier. Moyshana was a famous singer in Syria and highly sought after for her voice. I would liken her to Taylor Swift. The president even asked her to come and sing for him, which is where her troubles started. Moyshana refused the invitation of the president because she could not sing for a man who was killing her friends and neighbors. One day after school, her 13-year-old son, Hanad, was kidnapped. Finally, after 2 months, Moyshana was able to pay the ransom and get Hanad back. Moyshana begins to cry and asks her children to leave the room. She begins to describe how 5 Syrian soldiers gang raped her several times because of her defiance to sing for the president. Moyshana fled to Lebanon, seeking safety for her and her children. When she arrived in Lebanon, she found a place to rent, but her landlord beat her frequently and also raped her. She would go to the police station, which was right next door, to report the abuse, only to be told that nothing could be done to help her. She was given a number, which she called the next time she was beaten, and where she found shelter with Caritas Lebanon. She also finally found safety. Moyshana's determination to survive and live for her children was amazing. She was so thankful for the people at Caritas Lebanon. As I listened to Moyshana bravely recount her story, my eyes were full of tears, my heart full of anger and sadness. It is hard to imagine how one can survive such horror over and over again. My anger towards not having my bag diminished, and I began to think of the blessings that I do have. It is comforting to know that our Catholic Church, through the work of CRS and Caritas Lebanon, are helping mothers like Moyshana seek safety and dignity from a life of pain and hurt. After all, that is why many people like Moyshana migrate to other countries. A footnote on the long-lost bag: it was finally found the day I left Jordan, my final stop on my journey, and met me back home a few days later.